بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد في الأولين وصل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم في الآخرين وصل وسلم وبارك عليه في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين. ثم أما بعد. بارك الله فيكم. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from all of you and us الصلاة والصيام والدعاء والقيام والركوع والسجود. ربنا يتقبلنا في الصالحين. May Allah accept us in the ranks of the pious and the righteous and those who strive and aspire to have رضا Allah, the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with us as His servants. May Allah accept us as His humble servants who love this deen, who love to say La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah, who love salah, who love siyam. We are honored, we are blessed to be able to fast and to be able to pray and to be able to read the Quran and reflect upon the Quran. Alhamdulillah, to have the likes of Shaykh Usama who can lead us with excellent recitation, and also on top of that the knowledge to teach the meanings and to guide bifadlillah. May Allah bless Shaykh Usama, bless Shaykh Qatanani, and bless all of our mashayikh ya Rabbil Alameen. So inshallah, we'll briefly reflect on the verse of Surat Yusuf from the life of Sayyiduna Yusuf, verse number 33, where Sayyiduna Yusuf, he makes a proclamation to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, قَالَ رَبِّ السِّجْنُ أَحَبُّ إِلَيَّ مِمَّا يَدْعُونَنِي إِلَيْهِ. O Allah, my Rabb, قَالَ رَبِّي السِّجْنُ أَحَبُّ إِلَيَّ. The prison is more beloved to me than that which they call me towards. Now, that is a very beautiful and latif type of expression from Sayyiduna Yusuf. First off, he calls upon his Rabbi. And the language of Rububiyyah in the Quran is a language of intimate caretaking. It is Allah who is the intimate caretaker, the one who really facilitates your day-to-day affairs. Allah Jalla fi'ula, Ar-Rabb, is the one who makes sure that you're mastoor, that you are protected, that you are cared for, that you are fed, that you are drank. All of these subtle caretaking realities come from your Rabb. When you invoke Rabbi, you're invoking that caretaker, that intimate caretaker, and it's a very loving relationship. So this also teaches us ways in which we express to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala how we're feeling and what we're looking for. When I say Ya Rabbi, it's a very intimate, emotional, loving appeal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so Sayyiduna Yusuf is proclaiming to his Rabb, Allah Jalla fi'ula, that, what's important to me out of all of this, and what's most beloved to me, is that I am protected in the space and in the place that is most pleasing to you, Ya Allah, which is to be protected from these fitan, from these trials and tribulations. I don't want to be someone who falls into these realities, asbu ilayhinna. I don't want to fall into this stuff. I don't want these types of fitan to overtake me. So, as-sijnu, he is expressing that this most extreme reality, for example, of the prison is more beloved to me than that which they call me towards. يَدْعُونَنِي إِلَيْهِ. Now, يَدْعُونَني is jam'u mudhakkar. It is the plural form it is the masculine form of plurality, which is in reference to the fact that it wasn't just the Imra'atul Aziz that was trying him and testing him, but it was many people, men and women. That's why the plural form is masculine, يَدْعُونَنِي, because it was her and her husband and others who were trying him and testing him. So he did not want to be consumed by any of those fitan and those realities. So he's saying to Allah that it is more beloved to me to be in this prison than to ever falter in that space. Now, I find that this gives us a very distinct type of wisdom about how we should communicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Very often, we ask Allah for things. Ya Allah, give me this job, give me this car, give me this home, give me this wife, like this one. I want this one. And we don't realize that that thing that I so specifically want and ask of Allah may be the thing that causes my demise. It may actually be a fitna for me. It may be a real trial and tribulation. That's why our ulama teach us that you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that which is best for you. In kana khayran li. Allahumma ahyini in kana al-hayata khayran li. Ya Allah, keep me alive if life is what is best for me, and bring death if death is what is best for me. Now, in that logic, in that du'a'i logic, we should never be proclaiming to Allah, this is what I want. This is what I should have. Let me be for example, let me be in the castle of Al-Aziz and let me have this. No, he's saying, Ya Rabbi, what's more beloved to me is a sijn, because if that's where I can be protected and have my spirituality and my heart fully guarded from these evils, then that's more beloved to me. So this indicates that when you speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you should speak with that spiritual logic. Ya Rabbi, I truly want that which will beget the greatest amount of pleasure from you towards me. So place me in the spaces and in the places that will ensure that. And that may manifest in a whole host of ways, by the way, in your life. It may mean that you're never a wealthy person. It could very well mean that you always are a person who earns minimum wage. A little bit less, a little bit more. And that may be that which is most beneficial for you and will protect you the best. That may mean that you have a spouse and children, and that may mean that you don't have a spouse and children. That may mean that you have a big home, and that may mean that you always live in a studio apartment. Whatever is most pleasing to Allah and that will ensure your greatest welfare spiritually and theologically is your pursuit. So be wary and very careful about asserting to Allah, give me this. Sometimes we ask Allah for things with a type of deluded certainty that this is what's best for me. We'll spend all Ramadan, Ya Allah, let me marry this girl, let me marry this guy, let me marry them, please, this guy, this person. How do you know that this person is going to be what's best for you? You have no idea. You say, Ya Allah, pray istikhara, and Ya Allah, if this person is what will bring the best and most beautiful and relationship with you, then facilitate it, Ya Rabb. And if it's not, then I don't want it. And so you have to challenge your nafsani inclinations, because the proclamation that sijn, that prison, is more beloved to Sayyidina Yusuf is a type of metaphorical indication. It's a literal indication, but it's also a metaphorical indication that he will prefer what is known as a hardship as long as he is protected spiritually and theologically. So none of us, of course, we should never wish harm upon ourselves. We should never wish that harm befalls us. So you shouldn't say like, Ya Allah, take me to jail. You shouldn't, wish such a thing, obviously. But what he's indicating is he's already in prison, and in prison there is a type of safety and security and protection that he is proclaiming, Ya Allah, this type of protection is more beloved to me. Now, the result was that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, فَاسْتَجَابَ لَهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responded to the call. فَصَرَفَ عَنْهُ كَيْدَهُنْ. He protected him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ultimately frees him from the prison, and He also protects him from the trickery and the plotting of those who are wishing him evil. So this also indicates to you that we all have to collectively learn to surrender everything to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning, don't try to define the lines so deliberately of exactly, like, Ya Allah, here is my blueprint, please give me this. It's like, you know what I mean? Like we drew up a blueprint, like with like an architect, and we go say, Allah is the general contractor, do this for me. Allah is not your general contractor. Allah knows everything that you are and that you're not. We have no conception truly of our welfare So the ultimate spirit, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also indicating to Sayyidina Yusuf, I know your welfare better than you, so I will bring you out of prison and I'll protect you from these people. You see, he like elevated the spiritual compass, even of Sayyidina Yusuf. That no, this is not where you will just purely be protected. You will be far better off outside because I have plans for you. I have a project that you don't even, that Sayyidina Yusuf has yet to even conceive of, that he will go and then he will become a ruler amongst his people. You know, it's a divinely ordained reality that is still yet to transpire. So we have to operate in our proclamations and in our calls upon Allah with that mindset, knowing that I really don't know anything. And what is yet to come in the divine decree is far greater than what I can possibly conceive of as what I think is what is good for me. Like this home, that job, this career, this spouse, these children. That's a very superficial and limited boundary of my welfare, my maslahah. So we have to relinquish these affairs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we, as the ulama say, نَحْنُ سَائِرُونَ فِي قَدَرِ اللَّهِ. We are just journeyers and travelers in the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's taking us on the path that He wants us to be on. So surrender, you know. الرضا بقضاء الله, contentment and acceptance of Allah's decree is the pathway to absolute worldly and otherworldly liberation and relief and ease. But if you get so hung up on what you think, because you drew up a small little blueprint of what you think is your maslahah, and you get hung up on that, then you become a prisoner of that blueprint. And how many general contractors have completely like squashed blueprints because they were not realistic or not practical, or they were going to cause you far more hardship than welfare. So you have to learn to relinquish that. That's why always qualify your ad'iyah with whatever is best, Ya Allah. Whatever you deem best, whatever you desire for me, whatever you will for me, that's what I am radi bih. That's what I am content with, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Mawlana, what time is salah? Now? خلاص, you have to stop me. انت عارف انا بسكتش. طيب بارك الله فيكم وصلي اللهم على سيدنا محمد واخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. Forgive me for going a little long.
جزاكم الله خير مولانا، منكم نستفيد. بارك الله فيكم.